Mexico. ¡Vamos! It's go in Mexico. Arriba.
1, 2, 3 golpes de manera consecutiva. 2 directo a la cara, el tomo del brazo izquierdo.
Sensational.
Lo avienta directo a la esquina.
Oh, contact. Look at that. Absolutely enormous. Muy picante. Victory in Mexico City for Pascal Wehrlein. That was aggressive.
Con el equilibrio. Va a volar.
Oh, yeah.
It's a slam dunk. It's a slam dunk.
El ataque se hace para un lado. Reacciona de nueva cuenta.
Rolling is through and into the lead. Absolutely sensational.
Wow. Y una agrupación. Lucha libre.
Viva Mexico. "4,137 days since the lights went out in Beijing in 2014, a legacy was born with the world's premier electric single-seater racing series. Here in 2026, we celebrate history. Welcome to the Mexico City E-Prix for the 150th Formula E race. Well, the sun is shining and we are very excited for action to begin for the first time in 2026. Our second stop on the Season 12 Formula E calendar here in Mexico. The 10th visit to this circuit, a historic venue on the calendar as well. Let's have a closer look at this circuit. Karun Chandok, talk me through this Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez layout.
A slightly tweaked layout for what we've had historically, or at least in recent years. The chicane has gone missing from the back straight, but on the front straight you've got a tighter turn 1, which should create an overtaking zone because it's a bigger braking zone. Ground turns 6 now, double apex corner, but it leads to a longer run to turn 9 and into the Foro Sol, the stadium section. There is some small opportunities to overtake at turns 10 and 11, but you've also got the attack mode at turn 12. And then you come around the Peraltada, 180 degrees around turn 16, the Peraltada, leading onto the start-finish straight and the longest straight on the track.
Yep, 450 metres long, the start-finish straight, 270 metres the run down towards the first corner. Here's the grid, Pepe Marti right at the back of it, a legacy of his crash in Sao Paulo. He will be starting right at the back and have a drive-through penalty in the race. Then you've got Verne and Drugovic, also both with penalties courtesy of some incidents that also happened in Brazil. Next up, Lucas de Grassi and then Joel Eriksson on the grid for Envision. Further up the order is Zane Maloney, his first points out in Sao Paulo with his teammate Lucas de Grassi. The next row up on the grid for the 4th consecutive race. Maloney out-qualifies his teammate. Cassidy there, 4 of the last 7 podiums he scored outside of the top 10. And here is how the top 10 will line up. On the fringes of the top 10 then, this is how it looks. Antonio Felix da Costa, second consecutive top 10 start of season 12. He had a tech issue in FP2, got no running, so good result for him. Maximilian Günther, his 3rd consecutive top 10 start here in Mexico. Reigning world champion Oliver Rowland won this race last year. His title events kicked off with a 2nd place last time out in Sao Paulo. Jake Dennis, your championship leader, starts for 7th for the 2nd consecutive year here in Mexico City. Then it's Dan Ticktum. His previous best starting position here in Mexico was 5th. That was back in 2023. Nico Müller is the highest Porsche-powered car on the grid. His teammate Pascal Wehrlein struggled in qualifying. Evans won here in 2020. His last podium was back in Berlin in July of 25. Eduardo Mortara, his 2nd time, starting in 3rd position for the 2nd consecutive race. It's his highest starting place here as well since 2022. Then Taylor Barnard, he was on pole for a brief moment, but his lap time was deleted for track limits. It's his 5th front row start. And then Sebastian Buemi, his 1st pole position since Berlin 2023 for the 150th Formula E race. The fans are watching on here in the grandstands, James Rossiter. This is going to be an exciting race. It's very hot now down on the tarmac, on the grid, and I think I'm in for a very exciting one.
It's super exciting, and we've got such a topsy-turvy grid. We've got a few people out of position. We've got Cassidy in his sort of trademark place where we see him come through to the front from 13th. But yeah, having Dennis as well starting outside the top 5 is going to be quite interesting to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. The cars lined up on the grid, 20 of them, as you can see, a couple of rows back from where they'll actually be starting, so they'll pull away, they'll do a burnout, get some heat into the tyres, then they're in 350 kilowatts of power and all-wheel drive for the start of this race.
I think tyre temperature are going to be an issue as the race unfolds. The track temperature is rising all the time. It's quite cold here in the mornings when we first wake up, isn't it? You know, it's sort of ambient temperature down 8-9 degrees. Track is quite cold, but as the day, you know, comes along, it really ramps up. And I think in the last part of this race, that will be a factor.
I think there's a good possibility to see some drivers who are outside of the top 10, out of position, maybe going for an early attack mode in the race as well, cycle through, get track position.
Yeah, what's great is there's a few strategies to get yourself to the front in Formula E, and taking an attack mode early, using that extra 350 kilowatts to drive through the four-wheel drive. But then you probably want to save the four-wheel drive mode for the end of the race, because that's when your rear left tyre is going to be screaming when it's so hot through that long last corner, and the four-wheel drive is really going to help you and catapult you up the order.
Well, there's Pepe Marti, 20th and last on the grid. Green flag is waved at the back. Barnard on the left. Sebastian Buemi on the right-hand side as he lines up on pole position for the first time since 2023. Thumbs up from Idris Elba as we wait for the 5 red lights to come on. 36 laps about to go racing. We celebrate the 150th race of Formula E. It's time for a milestone in Mexico as we go racing. Good start from Barnard off the front row of the grid. He pulls alongside and tries to challenge against Sebastian Buemi down towards the first corner, but Buemi chops his nose up and goes deep. He's gone off straight down at turn 1. So Barnard through and into the lead. Buemi is out of contention for the victory, and the race isn't even a corner old.
Unbelievable. He's obviously had to brake on the inside, on the dirty part of the track, but for a driver of his experience, he will be disappointed with that.
That's a bit of disappointment then for Sebastian Buemi. So it's Barnard that leads from Mortara. Nico Muller's up into 3rd place. He's side by side with Mitch Evans as we come through the complex then into turn 8. Then on the run down in towards turn 9. This is now a big braking zone and an overtaking opportunity. You can see Mortara going for the defensive line there, and very big action in the background as we come in towards that right-hander.
I think that was Da Costa there having a bit of an elbows out moment with somebody else.
I think it was Verline, wasn't it? His former teammate at Porsche. So no love lost between those two. If any of you have seen the documentary from last year, so yeah, not surprised to see them getting their elbows out.
Yeah, Felipe Drugovich was also making some moves right up the back of the field. He's in 16th position from where he started on the grid, down in 17th. So 1 position gain then as we come to the end of the first lap. It's Taylor Barnard that leads. Edo Mortara in 2nd, but keep an eye out for Nico Muller as Mortara goes for that sort of defensive line down the start-finish straight, goes back into the traditional racing line as we come in towards turn 1.
Dennis has had a really good start, hasn't he? He's up 2 places. Gunther's up 3 places as well. So for Dennis, as we see a little move down the inside.
Costa on Roland.
Costa on Roland, wasn't it?
Yeah, Roland's gotten shuffled out here. It might open the door for Pascal Wehrlein to take profit of it as well. Wehrlein having a look there into the complex, but nothing doing for him. And in fact, no, he is through, as a matter of fact. Yep, so he's up into 9th place now, ahead of Oliver Roland, down to 10th.
So Da Costa reckoned on the grid, he told me he's got the pace of Buemi in this race, so he's really confident in his race pace. The car looks good. There's nothing to say about that, so I think it could be a great one to watch.
And watch Mitch Evans here, because he sounded pretty confident as well, and I think Buemi showed that the Jaguar package is working well around the circuit. Now, obviously, Envision and Jaguar share the same hardware, the same powertrain, and Mitch Evans, he's in 4th place, in a good place, Tom, because he's going to be banking energy. When you sit in the slipstream, I know we're at 2,200 meters of elevation, but you are still saving energy by being in the train.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As you say, Barnard is the one that's punching the hole in the air, or is he? Because Mortara's looking for a move on the inside. Can't quite make anything stick down the start-finish straight, but certainly signalling his intentions and keeping the pressure on the DS Penske driver. Just a reminder, of course, Barnard is yet to win a race in Formula E. You've got Gunther and Tickton there side by side as they go through into turn 4 as well. Gunther staying ahead of the Cupra Kiro driver for now.
So Barnard's been the youngest pole sitter, the youngest podium finisher, the youngest points scorer, as we see wheel to wheel between. Let's have a look at Buemi.
It was Gunther and Dennis just there.
Yeah, it was. That was a battle for position. Let's have a look at what happened then for Buemi. So didn't get particularly the best start off the grid. That left him vulnerable to Taylor Barnard. He moved over on him and then
brake way too late. Way too late. I mean, the two of them brake too late, but Taylor just managed to get away with it.
He crunched the front wing there as well on the Tech Pro barrier. He certainly glanced it, whether it caused him any damage. Let's have a look. So, yeah, wheel spin away from the lights. You'll see Barnard entering stage right in a moment.
He's looking in the mirror. Look, he's looking in the mirror, and then I think he's just misjudged how close he was to the corner. He's spending a lot of time on that run to turn 1, focusing on the right-hand mirror to where Barnard was, and just misjudged the braking point.
Yeah, and these cars have got the turning circle of a canal boat, so he did well to get that righted. Meanwhile, Pascal Wehrlein's gone in for his first attack mode deployment then, so he's in 9th position as it sits for now after that first one. He's gone for the first of 2 deployments. He's gone for a 4 minutes. So in Formula E, you get 8 minutes of attack mode deployment, and he's gone for 4 minutes initially. He'll do another 4 minutes of it later. He's already exercising the pace advantage as he goes through on the Andretti there of Jake Dennis.
Now, the advantage Pascal has is by using the extra attack mode now, he's able to capitalize on everyone being so tightly bunched, so he can spend less energy to actually make those moves and capture the places and get himself into the top 5 where he needs to be if he's going to fight for this victory.
And we're getting an illustration of that faction, isn't it? As he drove off the turn 6 hairpin, just out-dragged people down the straight. So we'll see in the stadium section, there's less of an advantage. There's only really one liner on this bit. Don't see anyone else going for attack mode in front of him, so Wehrlein will still have a power and traction advantage. Now watch, let's stay on board, I hope, through this final corner, because you'll see the 4-wheel drive here should launch him onto the South Finish Straight quicker than Mitch Evans in front.
Yeah, nicely done there for Pascal Wehrlein. So he's through on Oliver Rowland, he's through on Dan Ticktum, and now he's going to be through on Mitch Evans here for position as well. We're side by side with Mortara for the lead as well. Into turn 1, he's got the line, he's got the place. That's going to open the door here for Nico Müller as well in the Porsche. He's got the inside line, which will turn to the outside line. Müller's going for the outside on Mortara's race lead, but he's up through and into second position. Keep an eye out for Jake Dennis as well. He's fancying a slice of the action as well as Pascal Wehrlein. He's got the extra traction, he's got the extra speed, and now he's side by side with his teammate for second as we flick it through into the right and the left-hander. This is going to be really interesting to see what Wehrlein will be able to do, and surely he's going to be ahead of his teammate before we get into the braking zone.
Yeah, he's gone from 8th to 2nd in just over a lap, hasn't he? So that shows how powerful the attack mode is, and that's a message that will go out to all the other teams as well as to what's going to happen when their drivers take it.
The disadvantage here for Pascal Wehrlein is, of course, he's now exercising, using more energy compared to the other drivers around. He's going to have to save that a little bit later on.
He's also used an attack mode. He's used 4 minutes of it. The others have got 8 minutes left, so it's got him into a good position, going into the lead right now. It's going to be an interesting one to see what he decides to do now. He could try and make a break for it.
Yeah, certainly could. Let's see whether he's able to do that. 1 minute and 20 left of attack mode as he comes across the timing line to begin lap 6 then. So it's Wehrlein now in front from Mortara, then Nico Müller in 3rd position. Of course, Porsche have had great form here in Mexico City over the last few years, aside from last year, actually, when Oliver Rowland was able to snatch victory from their fingers after that late race safety car, following David Beckman going into the wall. But they're looking in a good position here with both of their drivers in the podium places in this early stage for now. You can see there he's moved up 10 positions from where he started. As Corinne said earlier on, Dennis also having made good ground, and likewise Maximilian Günther there as well. He's sitting right behind and now, in fact, in front of his teammate as they come into turn 9. So Wehrlein then trying to exercise the pace advantage, and is he going to be able to pull out a significant gap over Eduardo Mortara? I don't think it's going to be enough to be in too commanding of a lead as we come through the stadium section. Seeing one of the Lola Yamaha apps going into attack mode there as well. I wonder if they just missed the loops, because it hasn't come up on our timing screen that they've been able to enter into active attack mode. So it was either Zane Maloney or Lucas Di Grassi that may have missed it.
I think it was Di Grassi, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he's missed attack mode there as Lucas Di Grassi. He's lost position, he's down to 19th place, and he doesn't have the benefit of the extra power as well.
It's a very bold move by Porsche and Pascal here to take the lead so early after that poor qualifying performance, to be up 10 places. Let's see where he is on energy compared to everyone else. Yeah,
first look at the energy coming up then for the drivers in a few moments' time. And what this essentially is the first time for everybody to see this. The other teams don't know the amount of energy that's remaining for all of the other cars. So when this comes through, they'll have a clearer picture of how the race is sitting, and they'll be adapting their strategy now on the fly.
They will be, yes. I mean, Pascal will know, compared to his teammate Nico Müller in 3rd, how much energy he spent compared to him. So the team will have a good idea, really, of where everyone else is, because Nico Müller should be quite efficient compared to the others.
I wonder if you could see the two Porsches here working together at this point. We've seen it in the past where you've had another car that's backed up the rest of the pack, created that gap, so when they lose time going into attack mode, they don't lose track position.
I don't think it's possible to back them up really on this circuit. It's a different dynamic here in Mexico City, but you can play the team game. You can help, be a bit of a rear gunner and hold them up a little bit.
I think you can in the stadium section, though. I think if the cars are close enough together, as we see, look at this. That is
Müller.
Yeah, ignore the graphic. That is Müller, who's moved up ahead of Mortara. So I think there's a game they can play a little bit here, Tom, because there are parts of the track where you can just slow down back up on the line.
Yeah, certainly can. So you've got the two Porsches then in the front of this one. You've also got the two DS Penske's in 5th and 6th place. I wonder if we might see Günther as well as Barnard working together. That's a move on the inside.
Watch Da Costa. Now watch Da Costa. He's the one with the 4-wheel drive. He should outdrag both of those cars, get past Ticktum as well on the run down to turn 9. So Da Costa's now starting to make moves with his attack mode, but he dropped off the pack a little bit, so he's wasted sort of half a lap of attack mode just to get on the back of the pack, as his teammate Mitch Evans wisely lets him pass. No point fighting that. They're on different strategies at this point of the race.
Yeah, Evans' race engineer Alan Cox will be on the blower, saying to just not hold him up too much as Ticktum goes in for his first attack mode deployment then, so he's gone in for 4 minutes.
So regarding your Porsche strategy, it looks like they've swapped the places. They've put Muller in front. Muller's got more energy, likely, at this point of the race. And Pascal Wehrlein's going to be able to slipstream Muller and try and be a bit more efficient and recover some of that deficit.
Yeah, Pascal Wehrlein then now into second place with his teammate Nico Müller in the front of this one at the start of lap 9. Albie, what are you making of this one? What's your take on Pascal Wehrlein and his strategy so far? Very early attack mode from the former world champion.
Yeah, no, I really like the idea. The tires are still good at the moment. You know, they're not overheated at all. He's got Muller in front, sort of cutting a hole in the air for him. He can save energy. He made the big move from a track position point of view. So I think that's super smart.
Plan C.
Thanks, Albie, much appreciated. You see Da Costa here, he's making some good ground. He was up in 10th place a few moments ago, and now he's on the inside of Jake Dennis for 4th and gets it done quite decisively.
And he should get one more lap here, so he should outdrag Mortara down the start-finish straight. Let's see what the Porsches do at this point. So they've been told to lift the pace up and start pushing on. Here are the energy numbers, and they've got sort of similar, aren't they? No real anomalies in those numbers that we're seeing. So, yeah, Wehrlein, despite using a bit more attack mode, only 1% down, which is not bad at all. So, to your point, he's probably recovered a little bit by sitting the slipstream behind Muller.
You see the race pace is picking up according to Google Gemini. Next few laps expected to be the quickest yet. Let's keep an eye out on the lap time then. Let's keep an eye out also on Da Costa. Still a minute of attack mode then remaining, so he'll have this for the entirety of lap 10.
Personally, I think someone is going to look at how much they're able to gain with attack mode. And I think when the tyres are worn later in the race, you'll gain even more if you had attack mode four-wheel drive. I think someone's going to keep 6 minutes. Maybe a Roland, maybe a Dennis. I don't know. I feel like if somebody kept 6 minutes for the last 7 or 8 laps of the race, they could gain a lot, as long as they don't go back too far.
Well, here's one for you, Kroon. Is anyone going to keep the 8 minutes and try and use the whole 8-minute allocation late with just the second activation?
Well, you're then relying on a safety car.
Most energy, flickering 0.5% most energy in the top 10.
Good news then so far for Jake Dennis. Just want to say that Mortara is through on Wehrlein for second place down into turn 9.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of message to Jake. It's a bit of a morale boost, because really 0.5% here or there means nothing at this stage of the race. It means something in the last 2 laps, but not now.
But if you can keep that in his pocket, and later in the race it becomes a larger percentage compared to the others. So it does make quite a big difference, but the compound effect is only really there if you can keep that advantage right to the end.
Da Costa side by side with Mortara for the first corner, has to get out of the throttle, loses a position to Mortara, loses a place as well to Pascal Wehrlein, and is now going to be vulnerable to the 2 DS Penske's, who are very close indeed from behind. So Da Costa's really lost out then. He's dropped down into about 5th or 6th place.
That was a bold move, wasn't it?
But watch Ticktum. He's in attack mode at the moment, so Ticktum should get good drive off this hairpin, and he should be able to get past Wehrlein on the run down to turn 9.
So coming down in towards turn 9 we go. Here is Ticktum then side by side with Pascal Wehrlein for 3rd place. He made it look easy. He had extra power. He's got extra grip under braking then as well, and he'll have more on traction. We come into the stadium section. This is one of the hardest areas to overtake. You can see how they're tippy-toeing their way past the crowd as they make their way through in towards the final sector of the lap.
Yeah, I think Ticktum's only taken 2 minutes, by the way.
Yes.
So he's kept those 6 minutes. So maybe he's one of those drivers thinking about keeping 6 for the late part of the race.
Yeah, they're all fairly close on energy now, the top 4.
There's still only 4 out of the 20 drivers who are actively in this race that have expended their attack modes, and you see Muller go for the defensive line and not holding up too much of a challenge there as Mortara goes through for the lead at the start of lap 12.
Only 4 drivers have taken attack mode so far, haven't they? So there's still a lot of action to come in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of time for it to unravel. 36 laps, of course, unless we get a safety car. Up until lap 28 is the sort of last cut-off point when we can get added laps, depending on the...
Stay where we are for now.
So Muller being told to hold position for now then, 2nd place at the moment for the Swiss driver. Ticktum in 3rd, and then Wehrlein in 4th. So you've got 4 Porsche powertrains inside the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, the interesting one is Muller and Mortara still have 2 attack modes to take. They're looking in a really strong position.
It's a patient race, this one, isn't it? The drivers are just sort of biding their time, waiting for the right opportunity. There's going to be a point where you're going to see a flurry of them, I reckon, going into attack mode at one point, really. But clearly that go point isn't now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mortara and Muller, you know, the fact they've got track position without using attack mode bodes well for them. But I think we have to keep in mind, Fairline started much further back. You know, so this is the knock-on effect of qualifying. He had to use the attack mode to get himself in the fight because of his poor qualifying.
And what's impressive is he's now managed to get himself back into the same energy levels as the cars that he's fighting in the top 4. So that's a really, really strong job there from Pascal, from his engineer and from Porsche.
Yeah, that's due to lifting and coasting, getting regen under braking. Of course, when you're sitting in the slipstream, of course, you're not expending as much energy.
So if Ticktum would overtake us on start-finish and take the lead, that would be not a problem. That would be okay.
Well, in fact, it would probably be good news, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that's slightly delayed because Ticktum's no longer in attack mode. In fact, he's under threat now from Barnard as they run down to turn 9. Dennis having a little look on the inside of Evans as well. Oh, Da Costa, sorry.
Yeah, gets the move made. Does Jake Dennis then through on the Jaguar. And also you've got Mitch Evans there side by side with Maximilian Günther into the stadium section. They're just about keep it on the straight and narrow for now. So waiting for Mortara and Muller to sort of pull the pin. Do you think that Muller's just going to follow what Mortara does and just sort of go into attack mode at the same time?
I think at the moment they're pretty comfortable there, the first two. They don't have to rush. There's a long, long way to go in this race.
But also, taking attack mode at the same time as the other car makes no sense because you don't gain it. The only way you gain is by being on a different strategy. So I think you need to have some offset. So we'll see. I mean, the first attack mode matters less, you know, because you have another opportunity to gain it back. It's what they do with that final attack mode. That is the key decision for the strategists in this race.
Oh, look at Barnard making a lunge on the outside of Dan Ticktum. Not much love lost between those two. If you've watched the driver series on Amazon Prime, you'll know that Dan Ticktum didn't have too many kind words to say about Taylor Barnard, but Barnard putting in a strong performance here this weekend.
What's quite funny is I went through all through last season, coming to loads of Formula E races. I had no idea that there was this sort of simmering rivalry between them, but clearly it was quite edgy. I quite enjoyed watching the documentary.
I think Dan Ticktum plays up to the camera and the crowds a little bit, to be honest with you. He loves being the pantomime villain, and he plays that role very nicely. He's currently in 5th place for the Cupra Kiro team.
Barnard, another strong move there on Pascal Wehrlein as they came into the stadium section. He's a man with a lot of confidence. He's got little energy advantage, I think, on the cars around him.
Now look at the marbles on the outside of that final corner. These are obviously treaded tyres. They aren't slick tyres. And as the race unfolds, especially when you go long corners, you get these chunks of marbles coming off. That will have an effect late on in the race. If you want to overtake somebody and use a different line, you will be forced to go onto the dirty part of the track. So that is something that the drivers will need to be aware of for later in the race.
Yeah, so Wanda Mortara is that leads still. Nico Müller there in 2nd. Then you've got Barnard in 3rd. Pascal Wehrlein in 4th. We're side by side in the background for 5th with Dan Ticktum and Jake Dennis. Dennis still trying to challenge his compatriots as they come down in towards turn 9. Now Muller's through on Mortara for the lead. See racing for charity as well for every lap that the two Porsche cars complete in 2026 for season 12 of Formula E. Porsche are donating €400 each to charity.
Amazing stuff. Can I just point out, Oliver Rowland, reigning world champion, he's 3% up. This is, and Nick Cassidy 2% up on the others. Starting to feel a bit like the Rowland Cassidy plans are starting to formulate, aren't they? They do this, they offer him back. Because 3.5% is about 1 lap worth of energy. So you know, he's getting to a point where he's going to be in credit enough to really attack later when it matters.
It's a huge advantage, especially when that compounds later in the race. So yeah, we can see them playing the game, and that's really their strength. We see it race in, race out now.
Dennis on the inside of Ticktum, through into 4. Does he get it done? He does. So the Andretti driver is back into 5th position. Albie, what are you making of this race so far in terms of the energy? Lap 16 out of 36. We've got side-by-side action. We'll come back to you in a moment there, Albie, because it's all starting to kick off, and Ticktum's going to get really roughed up here. Loses 1 place, loses 2 places then, with Da Costa going through on him as well. Joel Ericsson's in the mix there also, as well as Oliver Rowland is looking to the inside into turn 9. Can he make anything stick? Not quite at the moment. He's going to have the outside line then, and that might open the door here for Mitch Evans. In fact, it's Sebastian Buemi, I beg your pardon, who's managed to cycle his way through the field. He's in active attack mode, is Buemi, so despite being right down near the bottom of the field after that mistake at turn 1, he's gotten some good track position here, but I would imagine that it might leave him a bit vulnerable at the end of the race.
I feel there's a bit of impatience building.
Albie, what do you make of this one then at this point? Just about to start lap 17.
So we're almost halfway through the race here, and you can see the top 10 sort of a little cat and mouse. There's not a lot going on. The gaps are opening up a little bit further behind. So you saw Buemi was the first one to go, and I can imagine, again, Cassidy, Roland, they're going to be pretty much next.
Oh, that's Nick de Vries in some bother, though. He's come to us. Sorry to cut in front of you there, Albie, but Nick de Vries has come to a stop on the track, and I hope it's in a safe place. I hope it's in a place that can be recovered, because the yellow flag is out at turn 1. If they can't get that car recovered, as we get a crunch of carbon fibre with Barnard clipping the back of Jake Dennis, we may end up seeing a full course yellow, possibly a safety car.
You're looking good on energy. Still 2 to 4% up on everyone. Except Cassidy behind you, 1% up on Cassidy behind you.
Roland still making some ground then here as well. Buemi's up into 6th position with 1 minute and 40 left of attack mode. So the field again still really close at the moment as Roland does go in for his first attack mode deployment then in this race, as just in front of them you've got Dan Ticktum, who goes across the runoff area. But look at this, Roland with extra traction on the inside through turn 15 and through turn 16. He picks off the Cupra Kiro. His next target then is going to be the Porsche of Mitch Evans, and then his teammate Antonio Felix da Costa. Yellow flag, though, is out at turn 1. No overtaking down into there. That's because of Nick de Vries' car, which is still stricken at the moment, as you can see. It's quite deep in the runoff areas. It's not in a particularly dangerous place, but they still need to get that car off of the live circuit.
If you can't move that, it's going to be a bit of an issue.
But it's an issue for Roland,
everyone,
isn't it?
This is race control speaking. We go full course yellow in 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow, please.
So da Costa shuffles Oliver Roland out to the grass going into the complex, and subsequently Roland then also manages to clip the back of another driver in front of him.
So he loses all of his attack mode that he could have used, and he gets shuffled out, so that's a big problem.
It's funny how the roles are reversed for Oliver Roland. If you remember here 12 months ago, it was when he was in attack mode, when we had a similar situation when the race was neutralised, that won him the race. Here, this could be the situation that loses him the race.
The two guys who haven't mentioned recently, the two leaders, they're looking very, very strong right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the strategists will be furiously recalculating both here at the circuit and back at base.
This is race control speaking. We have a rescue car on the track. So just be aware that we are trying to reach the car at turn number 1.
So that's, of course, to get Nick de Vries' car recovered. So Muller and Mortara still with 8 minutes of attack mode at the moment. Verline's sort of the outlier in that, because he's used one of those deployments, which, as we said, will probably leave him vulnerable towards the end of the race. Who else hasn't used attack mode at the moment? Dennis has still got 2 left in play. Likewise, Gunter and Evans. Let's have a look at what happened, though, going down in towards the complex then. So it's kind of 6 in 1 there, because you can see the DS Penske giving no room, because he was attacking against da Costa, and then Roland forced to the grass on the outside.
They're almost full wide going to the corner. It's never going to work.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, I mean, da Costa was trying to avoid running at the back of that DS Penske, and unfortunately for Roland, he happened to be on the left at that same point. So it's just one of those things. 4 into 1 never works. You know, when you put yourself on the outside, you always put yourself in a position of risk. And unfortunately, on this occasion for Ollie, it didn't work out.
Yeah, because he lost all those positions, and then literally here the full course yellow came out, so you can see it neutralise the race, and he clatters into the back of Nick Cassidy's Citroën for good measure. Now, what happened to Nick de Vries? So we saw him come to a stop. He wasn't really a feature in this race, given he was starting right down the back of the grid. Was there any contact, or is it just a technical problem? You can see him right at the back of your picture, and the car locks up, and the computer says no.
Yeah, exactly. He's still sitting in the car for some reason.
He probably wants to restart it and join the race.
Yeah, but, I'm sorry. It's been 2 laps now. Somebody race control should be... effectively, you're making a mess of the rest of the race. So, I think, you know, you're out of it at some point. You need to get out of it.
Well, that's a disappointing start to Nick de Vries' season, of course, after what happened in Sao Paulo, the contact he had with his teammate down at the first corner, and now a retirement here in Mexico City as well. Don't forget to vote for your PIF driver of the race. Scan the QR code on the top right-hand corner of your screen and tell us who you think is the driver that has really performed well. Now, where are we in the race? We are with 18 laps left to go, and in terms of how it goes for added laps, if we're over 2 minutes and 59 seconds, we'll get one added lap in this race, and we're well within that threshold.
We're definitely going to see an added lap, perhaps two. Yeah, it's going to be, all the teams are going to have to recalculate. The drivers have the system in the car to make sure the car is following the correct lap and the energy divided per lap that they can spend.
So who are the big winners and losers here then? Let's take stock of it. Muller and Mortara, of course, they're at the sharp end of this race. They've got 8 minutes of attack mode left. Cassidy, he's still right at the back of this train. He's still got 8 minutes of attack mode left. You've still got a fair few drivers.
I'll tell you the biggest winner, Sebastian Buemi.
That's
in
true.
Sixth place, having made a complete haulix of the first corner and just gone off and gone all the way to the back. To be back in sixth place is very impressive. I'd like to see an energy reveal to see where he is really compared to the others.
Yeah, it's good news then for Sebastian Buemi. Let's see whether he could turn around his fortunes after being off the circuit down at turn 1 on the opening lap of the race. Also gives another opportunity here for Pepe Marti. I was down talking to Gary Paffert, who's at the Cupra Kiro team for this year.
He had a lot more energy than everyone else, I think. So they were trying to save a lot.
Yeah, well,
there we go. Oh, no, maybe not.
No, he's sort of even Stevens now. I imagine he's probably expended a bit to catch up to the
well, he's got 6% more than the leaders.
Which is a good position to be in. He's got to be able to use that energy, though. Let's have a look, though, at what happened here for Sebastian Buemi. So he's going to, I think, crunch into the back of Nick Cassidy here, and then you're going to see, or going to feel Da Costa going into the back of him there as well. It's all got a little bit messy going in towards that part of the lap. That's
attention everyone, we are doing
6.
transition to the safety car. We are doing transition to the safety car. You can pick up the pace, please.
Oh, it's good for Pepe Marti.
Absolutely. Yeah, great news there for Pepe Marti. Just seeing a notice coming up on our timing screen. Joel Eriksson and Norman Nato are under investigation for gaining an advantage off track as well. So we'll see whether the stewards are going to come down on those drivers.
Buemi has the same energy as the leaders, which to me suggests that if he hadn't have made that mess in the first corner, he would be leading this race very, very comfortably.
So we just spoke about Pepe Marti a few moments ago, and he's got about 6% more energy compared to Nico Müller, the leader of this race. Albie, what do you make of that? Is he in a good position to try and take profit of that extra energy that he's got remaining in the latter part of this race?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the 60-place grid penalty for changing to a third set of motor, inverter, and gearbox, it translated to the 10-second stop and go, and all he's been doing is cruising around the back. I mean, unfortunately, I've had to do this on more than one occasion, racing from the back, so there's actually a playbook for this. You save as much energy as possible, you try to stay on the lead lap, make sure your tires are okay, and then you just pray for the safety car or a red flag, and, you know, definitely take him to the casinos tonight, because he's one lucky boy.
Yeah, great news there for Pepe Marti. Thanks for that, Albie. So let's see whether he can use that extra energy to his advantage.
Yeah, he's one lucky boy in terms of he's staying with the pack, but he is 19th. So the challenge is he's got all his energy. He's got 8 minutes of attack mode, so have lots of others. But he's got to be able to use the energy to come through.
So Dennis is 1% up on us. The rest is similar or lower. Copy.
So short and sweet there for Nico Müller.
Yep. They're not telling him about the guys further back then.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've had so many laps or so much time in a safety car. They're going to add probably 2 laps now, aren't they? Between full course yellow and safety car now.
Every 3 minutes.
3 minutes you get.
So we must be at.
Yeah, and they're doing 3-minute laps, basically. Yeah. So I think we're going
to need 3 laps.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Albie can probably tell us exactly.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably got the information scribbled down in his notes somewhere. Got the stopwatch out at the start of that full course yellow period. There's Florian Modlinger, the team principal and director of the Porsche Motorsport outfit.
Okay, you know the person. Ooh, Buemi's in the pits.
He is. So what's happened is to Sebastian Buemi. No notice came up on our time screen about a penalty, so clearly looks like a technical problem then here for him. Or is it Joel Eriksson? No, it's Buemi. So a 5-second time penalty for Eriksson, his teammate. This is turning into an absolute disaster of lap 21 for the Envision team. And Buemi looks like he's coming in for an early retirement of this race.
Check on the dash, the pressures. Yeah.
Do you confirm? If you confirm, we need to box.
Yeah, 118. I box or not?
Oh, it's like he's won the lottery but lost the ticket there, Sebastian Buemi, up into 6th place, and then unfortunately it all comes to nothing with a puncher putting him right down to the back of the field. The only saving grace is the safety car still out, and he'll be able to catch up with the train.
Yeah, but hey, it's an impossible task for him now because he's at the same energy as the leaders. So
and one for your attack mode as well.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be disappointing race for him.
So lap 21 out of 36, still the safety car on. No sign of it coming in. Oh no, back your pardon, it's just come up on our timing screen. It is coming in at the end of this lap. So lap 22, we will get racing resuming. So that's not good news there for Buemi because he won't be able to catch up with the rest of the pack. So Bruno Correa, the safety car driver of the Porsche Taycan Turbo GT machine, will pull into the pit lane, and then Muller will become the effective pace setter, and he's got to pick the go points for this race to resume. There are your fans watching on here in Mexico City, lining the grandstands here. And now where's Nico Müller going to go? He's already done it early on in turn 16. So he accelerates out of the final corner, comes across the timing line as the green light is on, and racing resumes. Nico Müller and Eduardo Mortara, both with 2 attack mode deployments remaining, will lead this race. We understand that it's 2 added laps is what we're expecting this to be, and just to compound the woes for Envision, if it wasn't bad enough already, a 5-second time penalty has just been given to Joel Eriksson. It's come up on our timing screen there as well, so that's a bitter disappointment for that team, given their fortunes here so far this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a shame. They've been so fast this weekend. Buemi's looked the fastest of anybody, and obviously started on pole as well. So yeah, massive shame for them. But it's starting to feel like there's a bit more energy in the pack now, isn't it? People are getting a bit edgier in the racing. Mitch Evans having a look around the outside and gets the move done on Maxi Gunter. Decides to just sit tight.
Oh, Ticktum.
Dennis, 10.
Yeah, sorry, Ticktum was lunging up. Gunter's inside there as well. He might try and get 2 for the price of 1. Into attack mode, then goes Gunter. And where does he slot in then? He slots in behind Mitch Evans. Sorry, beg your pardon, Antonio Felix da Costa, doesn't he? So loses a couple of places there, does Max Gunter, but stays ahead of Oliver Rowland for now. I reckon the pace is going to start ramping up pretty quickly now once this race has restarted. You would imagine that Muller and Mortara, they're probably going to try and expend a bit of energy, get a bit of a gap over Pascal Wehrlein to give them track position so they can try to go into attack mode and not lose places.
They still haven't pulled the pin. Lap time's still in the 1:11, so this isn't yet flat-out pace. You know, the full flat-out pace in these track temperatures are somewhere in the 107s, I would say now. So we're still some way off that. You know, there's still a bit of energy saving going on.
Lucas Di Grassi went into attack mode as well last time around, so he went for his first deployment, and we saw him trying to do it earlier on, and he made a bit of a mess of it, ran a bit too wide, didn't get over all of the loops, and wasn't able to activate it, so does decide to do it at the restart of this race. You can see the Mexico City E-Prix, the last winners on your screen. Wehrlein's won it twice in the last 5 years. As we come through into the stadium section, look at Taylor Barnard, who's now through on Pascal Wehrlein for 3rd.
I think that's the Envision going for attack mode, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it was Joel Eriksson who tried to go through there, but I wonder again if he missed the loops because it's not come up on our screen that he's been able to get a deployment out of the way. So now Barnard's into 3rd place as we ride on board with him. Next target is Eduardo Mortara as we come across the timing line, but of course Muller and Mortara and now Barnard both all in the top 3 positions, but all of them have these 2 attack mode deployments remaining.
What a great job Barnard is doing. You know, it's his it's only his 2nd race weekend in this powertrain that he's driving. Off the top 8, he's the only one who's switched powertrains from last season. You know, the systems are completely different. The way you use the tools in the cockpit are completely different, and the way you manage the energy in each team, you know, they have different software. And he's right up there in terms of pace, in terms of energy. He's really done a fantastic job.
Yeah, still yet to win his first race is Taylor Barnard. If he did win his first race today, he would become the youngest ever race winner in Formula E history. Just to notice, Ticktum's under investigation for gaining an advantage off track. We saw it prior to the full course yellow. I wonder if there's something that's gone on, though, on the restart of this race. We'll wait and see what the stewards decide on that one, but it's not been a particularly brilliant start to the season. A retirement for him in Sao Paulo, along with a couple of penalties, and also here as well, now under investigation, the British driver sitting in 8th place for now.
So we think there'll be 13 laps to go. Ignore the number 36, it's probably going to be 38, maybe 39 to the end of this race. And a lot of drivers still have 8 minutes of attack mode, isn't it? It's like, You just look in the top, just in the top 10 alone, there's still a majority who've got, well, it's probably not 50-50, who've got 8 minutes left.
So the reason why they have this confidence, there's a change to the sporting regulations for this season where you don't have to use all the time.
Whoa! Well, there we go. That's a big moment coming down into the complex, and it's eliminating one of the Jaguars from this race as well.
Da Costa.
Yeah, Da Costa in some bother then. Huge drama here on lap 25. The yellow flag is out. There's debris stricken all over the circuit, and we'll have to pick the bones out of that one. The yellow flag has gone away, so hopefully we don't get another full course yellow or another safety car, but we're now looking at Max Günther side by side with the Andretti as Evans, Da Costa's teammate, goes in for his attack mode, but you can see what it's done. Look at the split it's caused now, this fracture in the top 10 because of that incident that has unfolded.
Yeah, I think it was one of the one of the Citroens, doesn't it? Went for a lunge down the inside, and then one of the DS cars collided with Da Costa there. So we'll get a replay soon. No further action for Dan Ticktum, so that's good news. He's been cleared of that investigation.
Yeah, great news there for Dan Ticktum.
However, it says he's stopped.
Yeah, unfortunately, not so great news. On the other side there for Dan Ticktum.
Okay, good job, let's get after it.
Yeah, he's just going through the Perotada, so clearly something's gone wrong for Dan Ticktum. Hopefully he can make his way back into the pit lane. And you can see there, Google Gemini says the drivers have got ample energy remaining for the rest of this race. Expect them to push flat out to the finish. That's reflective in the pace. We're now into the high 1-minute 10s.
Yeah, watch Dennis. He's the one who's still up a little bit on energy. He's just lost a place to Evans, but he is up on energy here. So keep an eye. Ooh, that could get edgy. That was Barnard having a little sniff down the inside of Mortara inside the stadium section. You've got to be brave and fairly committed to make that move. Cassidy's gone for 6 minutes. So Cassidy's gone for a very different strategy to everybody else. We've seen most of them just go for 4. This is Evans using the 4-wheel drive to out-drag Barnard down the inside, and he launched himself onto the start-finish straight to gain that 3rd place.
That's lovely for Mitch Evans, past Jake Dennis, past Taylor Barnard, now through for 3rd position as we start lap 27. Let's see whether he can pick off Eduardo Mortara and Nico Müller. But keep an eye out for Nick Cassidy. This is what he loves to do. He sort of sits there, ghosts his way up through the field, and might be able to make profit of it. Now, what happened to Antonio Felix da Costa? We saw him getting a clatter on the rear. He's going to concertina up in the middle of the pack. Keep an eye out for what happens. So you've got the Citroen on the inside. 3 into 1 doesn't go. It turns around Max Günther, who then gets a clatter from the... Oh, that's what happened to Ticktum. So it's Ticktum, the other car that was involved in it. That's why he's crawling and he's going to be retiring from this race. And he's in the pit lane. So look at that. Bang.
Yeah, Cassidy's on the inside. So Cassidy is having a look on the absolute inside of that corner. And then they've all sort of just whacked into each other there.
James, what do you reckon? Is that grounds for a penalty or a sanction of some description?
It seems like a bit of a racing incident. Too many cars going into the corner. Difficult to place the blame on somebody, actually, at that point.
Mortara's gone in for his first attack mode deployment then on lap 27 as well. Where's he gone down to? It's 4th place, but he's got 4 minutes of that attack mode, so he's going to have a real advantage in terms of power and also then in terms of time relative to the other 3 drivers in front of him.
The problem is, if you wait any longer to take your attack mode, the pace of the race increases, or the lap time decreases, and it makes it more and more difficult to actually utilize that attack mode to make an overtake. So I feel there's been a bit of a missed thing here from Nico Müller. He's leading on track, but it's going to be very difficult for him to maintain that when he takes his attack mode.
Yeah, it's leaving him vulnerable here.
Yeah, but he's doing... Oh, he's gone wide.
He's gone wide down at turn 5. He's opened the door, and through goes Mitch Evans to the race lead on lap 28.
I was just about to say he's doing a great job defending from Evans, but he's gone wide. He's dropped back. Watch Mortara. He's coming back through now, so he's up there, and down the inside goes Nick Cassidy. So with that 6 minutes of attack mode, Cassidy's dragging himself into this battle. But let's remember, Barnard and Müller still are yet to take it, although there goes Müller and there goes Barnard, as I said it. So now everyone in that top bunch, the top 5, Jake Dennis is the first car who has not yet taken an attack mode.
Yeah, but Evans is going to be vulnerable here because he's running down to the last bit of his attack mode, and he's got Mortara and Cassidy with 2 and 3 minutes respectively.
I think we're going to see Cassidy in the lead by the time his attack mode ends.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And let's not forget where Nick Cassidy started this race. He was 13th on the grid, wasn't he?
He has an energy advantage as well. That's what we're forgetting here. He's got more energy than these cars, so he can actually spend more energy to make these moves.
Now this race is really coming alive. The pace has really ramped up. We're into the 1 minute 8 second lap times here for this one. So this is exactly what we were expecting to see on the restart of this. The pace is going, and the drivers are going with it.
Müller's going to have 17 seconds of extra attack mode. compared to Cassidy. So that's depending on where they run out, he could get back ahead.
Let's hit targets.
The thing is Cassidy's got more energy, so I think he's got 1% or 2 more than Muller, so he's going to be able to stay flat out slightly longer, even if he's out of his attack mode, and should be able to manage that 17-second window.
Mortara and Cassidy passed Evans then through into the top 2 positions. We think that Jake Dennis is in a good position. He's just gone in for his first attack mode deployment. Albie, what do you reckon? Do you think that Dennis has got a chance to win this race?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think he played that absolutely really smart. You know, everyone in front of him has less attack mode time now. He's going to have that overlap. He has more energy than the rest of them, so he's definitely going to be moving forward. I think he timed that absolutely perfect.
Cassidy through into the lead at the start of lap 30 then, so Nick Cassidy in the Citroen is ahead of Eduardo Mortara, and he's got more attack mode remaining relative to the Swiss driver.
Okay, get it spent, you've got the most energy ahead of you, good power offsets ahead.
Dennis being told to pick up the pace then.
What a performance from Cassidy. Another absolute masterclass of how to manage your energy. He just sat there so patiently in the beginning of this race, and he's just unleashed it after the safety car.
And the pace has really ramped up now. They're into the 107s last time round for Nick Cassidy. So Dennis is now there. He's got more energy, and he's going to have a longer time in this current attack mode. But everyone else is going quicker, so for him to come through is going to be harder. He's gone past down the inside of Evans into the stadium, so that puts him into the top 5. But the leaders, the pace has ramped up. Here comes Oliver Rowland. So after his little grass track moment on the first attack mode, he's dragged himself back into the point, and he's now got 6 minutes to go. But that will take him out of attack mode.
So here's the thing for Dennis, is that it's great, he's got more attack mode remaining, but he's got, what, a 1 second gap relative to Mortara, because Muller's the sort of cork in the bottle now at this point in the race. So though he's got extra attack mode, he's going to have to use that to get and latch onto the back of the top 2 to be in contention for a victory of this race.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see Mortara there hanging on to the back of Nick Cassidy. It's just showing that Mahindra has got some real pace as well.
Yeah, it's great to see for Mahindra. They kept their consistency in terms of the driver lineup and also in terms of the team personnel over the winter when so many teams were going around and changing it, and it seems to be taking profit. Look though at Jake Dennis, he's going to be side by side here with his countryman Taylor Barnard. He's got extra traction and extra power.
Cassidy and Muller.
So essentially they're saying you've got 1 lap to make hay here to the cars in front. So Muller's got probably half a lap of energy left. There's a bit of defensive driving there from Wehrlein on Rowland. He knows Rowland's got extra attack mode behind him. Barnard, was that Barnard trying to go attack mode and he missed it?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he tried to get loose, but probably missed the loops there. So let's see, here comes Rowland. He's going to have attack mode. He should outdrag Wehrlein as he gets onto the start finish straight. Cassidy has now run out, as has Mortara. Muller has got this extra 10 seconds, as I said. Can he make it into turn 3 and get past Mortara?
Yeah, so what Dennis needs to do now then here is really close up onto the back of Nico Muller when he's got this extra attack mode. This lap is absolutely critical for Jake Dennis and the challenge for victory then. So Cassidy, Mortara, Muller now not in attack mode. Dennis with 1 minute remaining on the clock is in attack mode, and it's now or never time for the Briton. Can he make it 2 wins from 2 races in the opening 2 rounds of 2026? He's going to pull alongside Nico Muller as we ride on board with the Season 9 World Champion. He's hard on the brakes into turn 9, and surely he is through into 3rd position.
He might be able to get into the lead on this. He's got 2% more than the cars in front of him, and if he can capitalise on that, stay full throttle down that long start-finish straight.
Where am I going to run out?
So, question there, but no answer for Jake Dennis. There's a lot of other drivers going for their final attack mode. Rowland in there, Barnard also went in as well. And now, with the last 20 seconds of attack mode remaining, Dennis has got to find his way through on Mortara and Cassidy. 450 metres, the start-finish straight. Mortara tries to defend it down in towards turn 1. They go to the left-hand side of the circuit, and Dennis is surely going to run out of attack mode here as they come on the exit of the corner. He's got extra speed, he's got extra traction, he's got the inside line through into turn 3. Mortara's going to try and defend. There's contact as he gets his front wing clipped, and Dennis doesn't get the better of Eduardo Mortara and is now out of attack mode.
That is crucial for Nick Cassidy as well. Now look, all those 4 cars are out of attack mode. Rowland's the one who's got 3 minutes to go, and Dennis just hanging on. But watch the wing. Is he going to make contact with the tyre? Because then that makes a risk for the front right tyre there.
Yeah, could get a black and white flag for Jake Dennis. No signs of that at the moment. I have to say, though, it's played into the hands beautifully of Nick Cassidy here, because it's given him a 1.3 second buffer to those 3 drivers who were squabbling for position behind.
But don't forget, he has 2 minutes less of attack mode.
No, he doesn't. He's just gone in for it.
Yeah, but he's got 2 minutes less.
Right.
Other people.
Yeah, of course, yeah, you're right.
He's
Yeah,
only
there's that
he's
four
used
available. Yeah.
He's used 6 already, so he's only got 2. The others have got 4 to go.
Yes, but with the pace of this race now, it's going to be very difficult for them to catch him. Cassidy's just taking the pin out of the grenade. He's just going now for broke. He's going to go as fast as he can, try and build his gap, and try and make sure he breaks that slipstream.
Yeah, nothing to lose then for Nick Cassidy here. 2 added laps in this race. And Karun, you're going to go off and head down to Pal Ferme because you're going to be talking to whoever wins this race. Good luck. We'll try and pick it out for you.
Yes, I'll try and listen in. See you later.
Right, so Nick Cassidy leads. 1 minute and 20 seconds left of that active attack mode remaining. Mortara and Dennis have still got another attack mode deployment then left here, James, but they've got more attack mode. Can they use that to their advantage? The problem for Mortara and Dennis is they've got, what, look, 5, 6, 7 drivers all in attack mode who are going to be closing that gap down behind.
There's also the issue of tyre temperature. The guys are pushing on, and with this pace of the race, the tyres are just getting hotter and hotter. You're going to be sliding around more. It's going to be more and more difficult for them to look after the tyres.
I think Roland might be one to watch here as well, because he's latched on to the back of Nico Muller. Dennis goes through for his attack mode deployment then.
And Mortara as well.
Yeah.
So everyone's taken their final attack mode.
So Mortara and Dennis, 4 minutes left on the clock then for them. Cassidy's just about to come to the end of it, but he's got a 2-second buffer over the rest of the field. Is that going to be the decisive margin that the Kiwi needs?
More than these guys settle in, we'll take energy and we can advise.
Down the start finish straight, Oliver Rowland.
Oh, it's going to be tight.
Trying to attack against Nico Muller into turn 1. Can he get it done?
Dennis past Muller as well.
Beautiful for Jake Dennis then. So Muller loses 2 places in the space of 1 corner. Rowland is through, Dennis is through.
Rowland's got a little bit more energy as well than the 2 cars in front of him.
This is a frenetic end to this race. Cassidy coming to the end of attack mode. So now what Mortara needs to do, look, he's got a buffer of about a second or so relative to Rowland and Dennis behind. He needs to absolutely go for broke over the next few laps of this race to be in with a contention of challenging for victory here, because Cassidy now is going to be vulnerable at the end of this one unless he's got enough of an advantage, he's got enough pace underneath him to hold off the challenge of the 4-wheel drive and the extra 50 kilowatts of power that Eduardo Mortara has.
I don't think he's going to be able to hold him off. Mortara is looking so good right now.
This is going to be absolutely critical here. Rowland is going to come to the end of his deployment, and this is going to leave him actually vulnerable to Dennis and Muller, because, look, they have got a fair bit left, relatively speaking, as well. Verline also might be a bit vulnerable at the end of this one. Nato's managed to move his way up inside the top 10, and also Pepe Marti, shout out to him in the Cupra Kiro from the back of the grid. He's sitting in 8th place. That's a phenomenal job from the Spanish rookie, really trying to turn his fortunes around. So, lap 36 out of 38, 3 to go. Cassidy's gap has come down to just 0.4 of a second, and Eduardo Mortara, with that extra 50 kilowatts of power, with the all-wheel drive, surely it's going to be a matter of when and not if he challenges for the race lead.
Yeah, this is brilliant from Edo Mortara. He's played this very well. He's not rushing it. He's got 2 minutes of attack mode. I reckon we'll see it at the end of the lap.
Here's Dennis on Rowland for the final podium place. Makes it look easy, doesn't he?
But the only thing here, Mortara, you can see him saving energy before Cassidy. So he's struggling a little bit.
They come to you.
To the team there, advising Mortara not to overspend the energy whilst he's got the advantage of the attack mode. So he's going to have to capitalise on those short exits to try and make a move on Cassidy.
Barnard and Muller were side by side there in the background as well, both of those drivers in attack mode, but Cassidy then surely is going to be vulnerable here to Eduardo Mortara down this start-finish straight. We begin lap 37 as we come out of the Peraltada. Mortara being told to manage the energy, but also try and manage the gap to Nick Cassidy. 2 to go then here in Mexico City. Look at Oliver Rowland trying to retaliate on Jake Dennis down into turn 1. Nothing doing for him. Can't find his way past at the moment.
This is so close. I have no idea which one of the top 4 is going to come out with a victory.
Yeah, 4 drivers all in contention for this one. So 1 minute left of that attack mode, and Dennis is right now on the gearbox of Eduardo Mortara, so he's certainly in contention for the challenge for victory. But Rowland is trying to disrupt the Season 9 World Champions Challenge as he looks for the outside line into turn 5. Can't find his way through.
Mortara has to get the move done now. If he's going to take Cassidy, he's going to have to take the risk, spend a bit of extra energy and do it right now.
Yeah, decisive there, but Cassidy defends the line into turn 9 unless he runs it a bit deep, but he does, and he holds it quite nicely. Cassidy's going to park the car on the inside, which he's entitled to do. Doesn't chop over. It's going to leave him vulnerable to Jake Dennis, who's now side by side with Oliver Rowland. Rowland challenging through for 3rd place as we come into the stadium, then into the right-hander, and Rowland is up and into the final podium places once more.
24 seconds left to get this move done for Edo Mortara.
Yeah, out of the final corner of the Peraltada, it's now or never time for Eduardo Mortara in the challenge for victory. He'll know that. The team radio will have told him that. He needs to get a good run out of turn 16 then, but he's not got it. He's got the slipstream, he's got an advantage in pace, but he's not got the opportunity to attack for the race lead. As we start the final lap, it's advantage Nick Cassidy as Mortara comes to the end of his attack mode deployment, and likewise Jake Dennis.
This is a brilliant drive from Nick Cassidy. He's just parking the car on the apexes. He's made it so difficult for anyone to overtake him. I'm sure we're going to see it again here. He's just going to slow down, make himself very wide, and then get a good exit.
Dennis attacking against Oliver Rowland there as well, and Barnard's come into the picture here as well. So we've gone from 4 to maybe 5 cars who are squabbling for position. Mortara just looks to be a little bit too far away. You can see him looking in his mirrors. Challenging is Oliver Rowland. Defending is Eduardo Mortara. Cassidy surely is going to have this one sewn up as they squabble for position from behind. Look at the inside line there for Oliver Rowland. Can't quite do it. Door gets shut. Dennis looking for a challenge there as well. Barnard, Verline, both in the picture also. We come through to the final corner, and it's going to be a debut victory for Citroën here in Formula E. It's going to be Nick Cassidy's first win of the season in Mexico City. What a drive and what a performance from 13th on the grid. Nick Cassidy will come across the line to take the checkered flag and win the Mexico City E-Prix. Eduardo Mortara is second. Oliver Rowland is on the podium once again in third position, ahead of Taylor Barnard, Jake Dennis and Pascal Verline, and Pepe Marti in 7th position as well. What a phenomenal drive from the Kiwi. What a great job from the Citroën team to secure their first win in Formula E as well.
That was absolutely unbelievable from Nick Cassidy and Citroën. What an incredible job.
Amazing. James, let's go and catch up with our race winner, Nick Cassidy.
Really good at what you do. Thank you for this opportunity, and wow, what a car. That's unbelievable.
Follow race director instruction and you are in unbelievable, mate.
Nick, it's James in the commentary box. What an unbelievable drive. 13th to victory for Citroën. Unbelievable, mate. How did you do it?
Oh, man. Yeah, I tried to stay positive after qualifying. I mean, my team really gave me a great car in qualifying, and I didn't do the jobs, but that gave me good confidence for the race that we'll be good. So just very, very happy and pleased for them, because those guys don't do holidays, man. They work so hard, and it's really cool.
Congratulations to you and all of the team. What an amazing job and what a great victory for Citroën.
Thanks very much, James.
Sensational from Nick Cassidy here in Mexico City. What a great way to begin his career at the Citroën team. That's his first win since the end of last season, the first race we had in London, which of course was for Jaguar. He moved teams over to Citroën, new powertrain, new personnel, everything was basically brand new, new language to learn, new cars to drive, and he's done a phenomenal job. This is why he's held in such high esteem in this paddock.
Yeah. Absolutely incredible. I mean, we see it time and time again from Nick Cassidy, just being able to manage a race in such a spectacular way. He's so calm under pressure. He's happy to sit there, build his energy buffer, and really figure out how the race is going to play out. And he just has patience and confidence and the perfect execution.
Nick Cassidy takes his 12th career win. It ties him for 4th in the all-time list, only behind De Grassi, Evans and Buemi. Eduardo Mortara in 2nd, Oliver Rowland in 3rd place as well.
4 wins in the last 5 races. He only lost Sao Paulo.
I know. That was his first race with a new team. I have to say, he's looked so calm and just a bit more himself over this weekend as Nick Cassidy. He's not so on edge. He's just looked calmer, a bit more controlled, and just generally a bit happier. Maybe the winter's done him the world of good, and that's reflected in the performance that we've seen on the circuit today.
I think also his drive in Sao Paulo, where he drove through from, again, a poor qualifying to a great podium, that really gave the team a lot of confidence to trust him. And having the trust of your team as a driver is so critical and so important. And as he said in that little debrief that we had, you know, the team worked really, really hard. The Citroën guys and all the people, the men and women at Stellantis, what an amazing job they've done in this season to bring Citroën a victory so early.
It also means that Citroën become the 20th unique brand to win in Formula E. Now we're looking here at Eduardo Mortara, who should be down in the stadium with the rest of the podium celebrators.
Oh, he's just doing an extra lap, victory lap. Well, 2nd place.
Maybe he got told there were too many added laps on team radio, perhaps.
Maybe, but what a great drive from Edo Mortara. You said earlier on he won the 50th race, he won the 100th race of Formula E, but he's finished second in the 150th.
Well, you can't win them all, can you? That honour goes to this man here, Nick Cassidy. What an absolutely sensational drive from 13th on the grid to first at the checkered flag. And also, full credit to Oliver Rowland as well. He had to get his elbows right out at the end of that one, and he did so. Managed to rough up Jake Dennis and deny him a chance at that podium places. British drivers finishing in 3rd, 4th and 5th place respectively, with Rowland ahead of Barnard and then Jake Dennis. Well, what a race we've had here in Mexico City. I don't know about the drivers down there on the grid, but I'm sweating here in the commentary box because that was an absolute phenomenon. 0.6 of a second separating the top 2 finishers, less than a second separating the podium finishers here as well. I say we'll try and listen into the drivers, but the crowd are so loud here in Mexico that we probably won't be able to hear anything down in the Forest Hole. But keen to see the podium celebrations and also catch up with our top 3 podium finishers as well. 4 out of the last 5 races that Nick Cassidy has won, his 12th career victory, and also 3 different manufacturers on the podium once again here in Mexico City. We had the same in Sao Paulo, where it was Dennis, Rowland and Cassidy on the podium. Here it's Cassidy, Mortara and Rowland on the podium. So again, another 3 different manufacturers occupying the top 3 positions on the podium. Second place for Eduardo Mortara. That's Mahindra's best ever finish in Mexico City. If you remember back in 2019, Pascal Wehrlein came within a hair's breadth of taking the win, but ran out of energy as he came over the line. Lucas de Grassi on that occasion stealing the victory through his fingers. Let's go down then and catch up with Nick Cassidy, his 12th victory of his Formula E career and Citroen's first ever in Formula E.
Nick Cassidy, congratulations, a winner with Citroen, just your 2nd weekend with the team. Fantastic crowd here. How does this feel?
This is unbelievable in front of all these amazing fans. I mean, this atmosphere is second to none in Formula E. So to get a win here, it's with Citroen. I mean, what a dream start we've had. Just so happy for my guys, and yeah, thanks to them for believing me in me and you know, bringing me to be part of this project. I think there's some really cool times ahead, but man, what a moment.
This felt like a typical Nick Cassidy drive. You were patient early on, you were banking the energy, and then at some point you pulled the pin and went for 6 minutes on the first attack mode. How crucial was that for you to cycle up to the front, and how stressful was it at the end when they were coming back at you?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think till the last lap that we were okay. I mean, I was happy with a P4 today, starting P13. My radio was very much like, let's secure a good result, but big, you know, my engineer, Pepe, like, whoa, he's just stuck by me, and no matter, you know, I get pretty up and down in some sessions, but he's always there. We've only had 2 weekends so far, but he's always been making the right calls, and yeah, no, this one is very much for him as it is for me and our whole team, because it's the team, the car, the package and the strategy that enabled us to do that race. You can't win this race with a bad car.
Well, your 12th victory in Formula E. Congratulations and enjoy the podium.
One thing, I mean, I made a deal with Jev on Thursday that if I wanted to shave my head, and I was coming across the line and I was like, do I lift? But
let's have a look.
It might be gone. So, you know, there's a statistic: whoever wins this race is good in the championship. So I wasn't giving that one up. And if we can be good in the championship, I'll shave my head any day.
Well, there you go. Well, let's see what it looks like when you get to Miami. Thank you very much.
Well, an aerodynamic haircut on both sides of the garage then potentially for the Citroen team after that victory for Nick Cassidy. Amazing job. Must feel like a rock star standing down there in front of the capacity crowd here in the stadium. Let's have a look at the race. Started 13th on the grid, did the Kiwi. And, well, from that point, all he did was go forward, siphoned his way, just did the classic Nick Cassidy strategy, ghosted his way almost up the field. And then we were like, oh, hang on a minute, Nick Cassidy's in 9th place. And suddenly he's challenging for victory. Citroen's first ever in Formula E as they become the 20th manufacturer to win in this championship. phenomenal job from Nick Cassidy and indeed from the entire Citroën team. Can't be understated the efforts of the team both on the ground and back at the base in France. Let's catch up with Eduardo Mortara, Mahindra's best ever finish here in Mexico City.
Oliver Rowland, second and third. Let's walk you guys to the podium. Edo, you were right in the fight from the start of the race. Great qualifying. Not quite enough for Nick at the end, but how are you feeling with that race?
No, not quite enough. I must say that Nick did a really, really good race, and we started to struggle probably midway through the race. That unfortunately didn't give us the opportunity, let's say, to have a launch in the last laps. But still very happy with P2 and yeah, great solid points for us.
And let's talk about your battle with Ollie there, because towards the end, it was all getting super close. Ollie, you were on the grass at one point, halfway through the race in your first attack mode. You got safety car. Did you think you would end up on the podium after that?
Well, I was one of the first to take the attack mode, so when the full course yellow came out and I'd lost 5 places, I thought my race was done, but we were really efficient and we could keep the energy, and I could just be quick at the end, and the pace was the key thing.
Edo, how fun was the last part of the race? Because it was pretty stressful and some moves coming up.
Fun, I don't think it's the right word. I think that it's extremely stressful. On top of that, I think that I was having less energy than the others, so I had to defend quite a bit. In the end, very happy with this podium.
What do you think, the end?
Well, it was good. Obviously, I was delighted to be on the podium, but yeah, I got a bit surprised with him in the last lap, but and how early he lifted. But great event, as always, that Formula E put on here, the whole crowd. It's an absolute pleasure to race here, and I hope the fans enjoyed it.
Well, and a great start to your championship defense, 2 podiums in a row. It's a good foundation for you to build on, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. We'll keep pushing in the right direction.
All right, guys, I'll let you get to the podium. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers.
Well, that is a truly, truly remarkable race. I mean, Nick Cassidy, absolutely faultless. 4 wins from the last 5 races. Now, James, we've talked about this stats over the course of the day. The last 3 race winners here in Mexico has gone on to win the title. Surely the fact that Nick Cassidy is he's just at one with the car at the moment. The momentum is there. Could this be his year?
It definitely could be. I mean, he and the team, they need to get their qualifying together, that's for sure. But the class and the quality of his driving and how composed he was and the team during that race to execute that strategy, to be there at the right moment, to be offset to everyone else on energy, on attack modes, and to capitalize on it and win the race from 13th on the grid. If they're capable of doing that on this circuit, they're capable of winning anywhere.
Truly remarkable. Let's take a look at some of the highlights over the course of his race, because of course he qualified down in P13, so he had his work cut out, but again he just managed to master that strategy, didn't he?
Yeah, he took the attack mode there, the right window, nice and clean, didn't lose any places, and then he just was patient. He makes his moves here, he spends his energy. Here we see him just on the inside of turn 8, outside for turn 9. Nice clean moves. He never does a half-hearted attempt at an overtake, Nick. He really is decisive. He makes his bold move. He makes it stick, and he doesn't waste his energy. He really executes it.
Well, you can see the excitement there in the Citroën team, understandably so, because Nick Cassidy and the rest of the team have made history for Citroën, taking their first ever Formula E win. Now it gives us great pleasure to hear from the team principal, Cyril Blaze, and reflecting on that moment.
Cyril Blaze, I mean, what a drive by Nick Cassidy, 13th to 1st, and giving Citroën their first Formula E win. You must be delighted.
I'm delighted, and actually on the grid, funny enough, I told him, don't be down, we started 16, in Sao Paulo, and we finished 3rd. So starting 13, it should be a piece of cake. And you look at me laughing, thinking I'm crazy. And then what a race. I mean, fair play down to it. The team did an amazing job, but Nick was he's just such a good racer. He's got such a good vision of the race, and the execution was just perfect. So first race win for Citroën, podium in Sao Paulo, race win here. Jeff did an amazing job as well, coming from the back. So I'm not feeling so well, but actually that's giving me a little bit of a cheer.
That's a very good. Get well soon. Thank you, Cyril. Congratulations.
Lovely stuff there. Huge congratulations to Cyril Blaze. We should also probably touch upon the fact that Edo Mortara put in a really solid performance. I mean, James, he led quite a lot of the race. Do you think that maybe cost him a little bit too much energy? He didn't quite have the energy to keep hold of the lead.
It looked like he was just missing sort of 0.5% of energy as the race came into the closing couple of laps. he was just struggling to use the attack mode advantage he had. He had more time in attack mode than Nick Cassidy, but he had less energy, and you can see that those last 2 laps, had to lift a little bit earlier, really struggled to just get that move done, but great second place for Edo Mortara and Mahindra.
Indeed, and as we say, never underestimate the defending champion, Oliver Rowland. Now it is time for the podium celebrations here in Mexico City at the 150th podium. Tom Brooks, over to you.
Thanks, Nicky. Yeah, race 150, and how fitting it is to be won by the reigning world champion, Oliver Rowland, as he makes his way, sorry, I beg your pardon, to have been on the podium for Oliver Rowland there in 3rd position. Great job from the British driver. P3 for him here in Mexico. He'll be delighted with that one. Eduardo Mortara, we saw a little bit of disappointment on his face, and I think he'll be sat there wondering what he could have done differently after that one. But P2 for him in the Mahindra moves him up into a good place in the Drivers' World Championship, and certainly something for him and the Mahindra team to smile about after bouncing back from the disappointment of Sao Paulo when he ended up in the barrier courtesy of a crash with Lucas Di Grassi. Edo makes his way onto the stage, turns 39 years old actually in a couple of days, so a nice birthday present for the Swiss-Italian driver. Crowd here in Mexico City have been absolutely phenomenal. It's Mahindra's best ever finish in Mexico City with P2 as well. Ties his best ever finish in the Gen 3 era when he finished 2nd in Jakarta last year also. But you certainly cannot take anything away from our race winner, Nick Cassidy, his 12th career victory, Citroen's first ever in Formula E on their 2nd attempt. And the Kiwi put in a performance that was worthy of a champion, which I'm sure he will be one day. Finished on the podium in both races this season, 13th on the grid in 15th on the grid in Sao Paulo, 13th on the grid here in Mexico City, as he makes his way onto the stage to the plaudits of the crowd. I'm sure this will be the start of a very long celebration in the party town of Mexico City.